What is good, YouTube? In today's video, I'll give you guys the new top 5 meta loadouts you guys should be running. So if you enjoyed today's video, sure to give it a like, subscribe with notifications turned on, and let's get into it. All right, so for our first gun here today, we're gonna be taking a look at the LW3A1 Frostline. This is a really solid sniper rifle for those that don't want to go use the HDR, maybe don't have it fully leveled up, something else like that. This is really good because right now mine is level 26 and this has all the attachments you need. Also, this does have Orion camo on it. It is a camo swap glitch that I've done. There's plenty of tutorials out there for you guys that want to know how to do it. So we're gonna leave the optic as is. We're gonna get into the muzzle here. We're gonna go through on the mono suppressor. It keeps you off, of course, the mini map, helps your bullet velocity and damage range. Absolutely huge. Kind of no matter how you're building out a BO6 sniper, you're probably gonna want to use the mono suppressor. Extra range, bullet velocity is great. That is what makes these things seriously effective. As you can see down here, your damage at effective range boosts up from, let's say, 58 to 64.3 meters. Just off of that, we have a 20% increase in our bullet velocity, getting us to over 1,000 meters a second, which is great. So that's just with one attachment, not counting all the rest of them. Barrel, what we're gonna go do is we're gonna throw on the long barrel, not the gain twist, because this is not like the HDR where it has that kind of like that infinite one-shot range to it. The long barrel does really help you out here quite significantly by bumping up your damage at effective range to 80.3 meters. That is essentially your one-shot headshot range, and of course everywhere else in the body it is going to be at maximum a 2-shot. So this will really help you out here. I think this is way better than the gain twist. Obviously, we don't need our damage range dropping down to 64. We'll be plenty fine with having at 80. Now we're going back in here to the stock pad. What we're going to do is we're going to go throw on the lightweight pad. This helps with your aiming idle sway. Keeps you stable so you're not like, doing a whole bunch of this when you're ADSing. We don't really want that. It's going to make it so you can't really hit your shots. Obviously, you're not always holding your breath or something like that instantly when you zoom in. So it just makes it easier for you to hit your shots. This is personally one of my favorite snipers to use, by the way. I really enjoy its overall mobility and how fast of a reload it has because you just take the magazine out so fast. It's really awesome. Next up, we're going to be throwing on the quick draw riser here in the comb section. This is just going to help us out their ADS speed and our jumping aim down sight speed. We don't really care as much about the jumping aim down sight speed, but the quick draw for the general ADS speed purposes really does help you out. And it does, unfortunately impact your flinch resistance. That is something that I'm not necessarily a big fan of. So if you guys want this to be even a bit better or just a bit of a different setup, you can, not throw on the quick draw riser. You can take that off, maybe go for a stock, maybe throw on something like the heavy stock, which will help with your flinch resistance. You'll be a little bit slower, but overall, I mean, if you want to kind of up that so your shot's going to be really, really on and you're not going to be as fast, then go for this. I'll just select it just for right now so we can move on to the final attachment, which is going to be the fire mod. And we're going to go throw on the overpressured rounds, which increases your bullet velocity out here 15% to over 1,200 meters a second. Got a great damage range, great bullet velocity. Like I said, this is really good to kind of compete with the HDR. You can have an absolute blast using this on Verdansk and especially on Rebirth. You can seriously dominate. So I'm going to use this exact build. It's a killer. Now something for y'all to pair with that sniper if you want to especially be playing Rebirth and you want to have an SMG and you want to have a sniper rifle. Of course, the C9 is no better thing to kind of pair with a sniper rifle. Like, I mean, that is essentially the best thing out there, maybe minus a sniper support GPR, which we're not including in today's video, but overall this is going to be like the move right here, especially for close range. Not a whole lot's beating the C9. So first thing, we're gonna throw on that long barrel to increase our overall damage range. I really like that. It does exact trick. I mean, we want to be above that 15 meter mark here for this gun in particular. So 15.5 is going to be great. Gain twist, obviously 11.9, not really that good. And reinforce is only 13.7. So we don't need to increase that bullet velocity. This is not sniper support specifically. This is close range. So this works out great. Under barrel, I see people go back and forth here between this on the vertical foregrip and on the Ranger foregrip. If I'm running this specifically for close range capabilities, I find myself very comfortable with the Ranger. I like to go for this. But if you want to have something that's got a little bit more of that horizontal recoil control because you start firing and then all of a sudden starts to jiggle, I understand you guys. You can go for the vertical foregrip right there and be fine, or go for the Ranger. Kind of up to you guys what you want to do, what you feel comfortable with. Magazine, you throw an extended mag 2 here. This is not really something I'd suggest to kind of play around with. This is the best option in here. 50 rounds in the mag, we like that. I always like to kind of preface this that this 10 mil auto 30 round mag, the TTK is, even though it says damage range, bullet velocity, damage, right? It's like, it looks great, But overall, even with the cons right there, I think it slows your fire rate down a little bit too much to the point where it kind of evens out, to the point where it's not going to make a difference. So you should just have the extra 20 rounds in the mag as opposed to having 30 rounds in the mag when you're playing, you know, trios and quads, right? We don't want that. So go and throw on that and you guys will be good to go. Rear grip, we're going to throw on the ergonomic grip here. This is what I always go for. I mean, close range, C9, aka the MP5, you're going to be sliding around a little bit, maybe doing a jump slide, something like that. You know what I'm saying? So this helps you out a lot. Lastly, stock section, I exclusively run the balanced stock on this. Going to keep it a full stack with y'all. This is what I go for, you know, 10 times out of 10, you know, 24/7, 7 days a week, you know what I'm saying? Like, I always go for this, right? So I go for that. The infiltrator is a great option, and also the no stock can be a great option. So for any guys that want to switch it up there, this exact build will work great with any of these other attachments. So, you know, but my choice is the balanced stock. So this right here is going to be your go-to build. Next up, I want to give you guys a build here for the Krig. This is one of my favorite ARs to use right now. Probably the most consistent in the game at the moment. I think the Kilo feels great as well, but we're not going to be including that here today. The Kilo build basically stays the same, but of course the Krig, you can kind of modify it a few different ways. So I'll show you guys how to do that. First thing, we're going to give ourselves an optic, which is either going to be kind of like a red dot of choice. So you can go for like the Kepler Microflex, the Merlin Mini. I really like the Volziski Reflex, or you can even go down here a little bit farther and maybe go for the Kepler. That's pretty good as well. I don't really use that or care for that right now, or at least anymore. I used to run that a lot, but I don't really run it anymore. And then you could finally go down here for the 2X and the 3X, but pretty much anything, you know, 3X and up, that is where we're going to be staying. We don't go down below the 3X right there on that list. It is not beneficial past that point. It does not do you any favors. So you're gonna either go for the 3 times or anything else up here. To make it real simple, I'm gonna choose the Merlin Mini, as I think this is pretty awesome. And the really nice thing about this is we can go to the reticle right here and of course customize it for the blue dot, which I quite like. So we're gonna go back to attachments here and keep it moving. So muzzle section, 2 things here. You can run the compensator, which is gonna be probably the go-to for a majority of people out there. Especially if you're not that good with the recoil control, then this will be more so your option. If you are a little bit of a, you know, a decently skilled player where you can control that recoil, then go through something like the mono suppressor. This is what I've been running right here, and I'm telling you guys right now, I love kind of staying off the radar while being more effective. I just absolutely delete people. I've had comments where like, why is no one turning around? It's like, you would not believe the amount of, you know, awareness that just goes down when people can't see like a muzzle flash, can't hear you because, you know, you're not running a compensator or something like that when you're suppressed. Like, a lot of people just don't know where shots are coming from when something is suppressed. That's kind of like the whole point of the suppressor. So this does help you out in more ways than one. So I like this quite a bit, but if you, for whatever reason, you know, can't control the recoil, go for the compensator. I'm just gonna go for this. Barrel, we're gonna go through on the gain twist barrel right here. This gets you out to, well, at least with the mono suppressor, 48.9 meters. I think it's somewhere around like 45-ish. You could technically speaking go for like the reinforced barrel if you want to, even with this specific setup right here. I mean, reinforced is going to be banger. 1195, 58.7. Not going to go wrong with that, but overall, I think still technically the best thing is to run the gain twist. It's not going to make that much of a difference. So kind of go for either which one. See what works best for you between the gain twist and the reinforced. If you are running the compensator though, gain twist exclusively. If you're running the mono suppressor, gain twist or reinforced. So just kind of, you know, keep that in mind. Under barrel, we throw on the vertical foregrip here. So go ahead and slap that on there. Pretty standard. In a magazine, we throw on extended mag 2, which is one reason this gun is so good is it gets you 70 rounds in the mag. So like, that's awesome sauce right there. So that right there is going to be your full Krig build. All right. So at our 4 slot here, we have the Compact 92, which a lot of people don't realize still has the fastest TTK up to about 13 meters. Of course, it will drop off a little bit, but you know, the compact is still really good. It's just, it's not really getting used a whole lot, but you guys should be having this on your loadouts. So first thing, muzzle, we're probably gonna throw on the compensator here for this bad boy. I know a lot of people are gonna need help with that recoil. And believe it or not, you know, myself being very, very proficient, maybe I should say mastered recoil control, the compensator is still probably what I'm going to go for here. Just realistically speaking, I feel like I'm going to probably go for that 9 times out of 10. And maybe if I'm feeling a little bit wild, I'll switch it out for a more standard SMG build I have. But you should be going for that. Barrel section, long barrel here. I mean, you guys got to go for that. I have actually ran that integrated suppressor barrel here a decent bit. I think with the long barrel getting out to 12.8 just works a little bit better. We want to make sure we extend out that fastest TTK range as long as possible, and the long barrel will do that for us. Under barrel, you definitely want to go through on that Ranger to give us that mobility. It's got more than enough recoil control at this point if you have the Ranger and the compensator on it, so I don't feel like y'all are going to need anything else like the vertical to help you more. Magazine, this is where you can have a little bit of a topic of discussion on what to run, but the extended mag 2 is great for 50 rounds in the mag. I've also ran extended mag 3, which is pretty awesome, having 60 rounds. Also, considering the fire rate is almost 1100, 9 rounds off, 1100, that's pretty good too. So extended mag 3 or extended mag 2, just kind of use what you want. I'm going to select extended mag 3. Now for our final attachment for this specific build, we're actually gonna go throw on the ergonomic or the commando grip. So you have to see what works best for you. I'm a very aggressive player, so that dive to fire, slide to fire. I can't say dive to fire because I don't be diving really, unless it's like on accident or I'm diving off the top of something to parachute. That's when I dive. But overall, I like that slide to fire. Slide to fire, ADS speed, and jumping aim outside speed. I like the 3 things right there. And the other one is just kind of an added bonus. So I like this. This is what makes me feel very effective. So I'd say for you guys to go for that or the commando, just see what you want depending on your play style. If you're not as much of an aggressive SMG player, this might help you if you're not always sprinting. Or, you gotta, it's not sprint more, die more, but you have to sprint responsibly. I should say that. So ergonomic right there, and that will do your exact build. You can also take this off here if you want to go for a bit more craziness. Throw on the balance stock, and this will get you for real kind of moving, and you'll have to control the recoil a bit more, but it'll be pretty good. So overall, kind of do what you want. Last but not least, I gotta give y'all a build here for the MX9. I know not a lot of you like to run exclusively BO6 weaponry, so it's really nice that an MW2 SMG can compete in the meta, and frankly, it's very, very good at it. So optics section, we're gonna go for the precision tab, since of course this is not like the BO6 guns, and there's 39 optics, probably about at least 30 plus of them, which are completely useless. Actually, I'd say probably about 35, since there's maybe 4 in here you want to use. So slate reflector is one of that you're going to want to use. You could run the jack glassless technically if you wanted to, but you lose on ADS speed above my face cam here, which is not good. We don't want that. You can go on down here, just keeping on moving. You can throw on maybe one of these red dots. These are not going to be bad either, but my preference is going to be the NIDAR model 2023. Maybe I overestimate. There's probably like 33 useless ones. There's like 6 good ones. But the NIDAR model is going to be what I go for. I absolutely love, the overall circle on the sight. It makes it very easy to see what you're aiming at. Get a nice little picture right there, and I think the actual red dot is great too. No reason to even change that if you could. Next up in the barrel section, we're throwing on the 16.5 Bruin S901 barrel. I was kind of going back and forth. I was like, what was I actually running? But it's an S901 barrel. The reason we're doing this, even though technically we get a bit better damage range off the rear guard, is that it does slow down our ADS speed. Our hipfire and tac stand spread gets worse, whereas this actually buffs our movement speed and does help our hipfire accuracy along with the damage range. And it also negatively impacts you less. So between the people that have tested this, all the nerds that have done that, this is, the better barrel. So I run this, and honestly, I tell you guys to run it because I've ran it and I've dropped some crazy gameplays with it. Magazine, one of the beautiful things about this gun is they finally updated it. I can't remember what patch it was, but it has 50 rounds in the mag. It may have been a while ago, but it was absolutely pitiful having 32 rounds in the mag. Like, who the hell wants to use this for 32 rounds? I don't. So that's why it was just terrible. Like, maybe you had a good TTK, but 32 rounds is garbage. So we're throwing it on there now. Now for the rear grip section here, we're gonna go through on the Bruin Q900 grip. Sprint to fire, ADS speed, great things to have here, so you guys want to run that. And lastly, we're gonna go for the comb section. Y'all gonna want to run this FTAC C11 riser, which once again helps with your ADS speed and your sprint to fire. We don't really care as much about losing a tad bit of aim locking speed or the aiming idle sway. This gun don't really bob around. It's not like ridiculous like that. So go and slap that on there. And if you guys, for instance, want to not run an optic or something, you can take this off. And I mean, I'd probably suggest to go for like this RYL 33 laser light. This is ridiculous right here. If you want some mobility, the only downside is that the iron sights are kind of a little bit wonky. So run that, or go ahead and run, your red dot. So that being said, that's my top 5. If you guys enjoyed, give it a like, subscribe, check out this other video on screen, and I'll see you all next time.